contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. Ministry of Energy announces review of guidelines for the Tazama Open Access Framework. Action Aid calls for holistic approach to the electoral environment. French prisons hit by wave of overnight attacks. This bulletin is also live on our Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia, and YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie Banda. Government has refuted claims circulating on social media. Geoffrey Bwalyamwamba, GBM, has passed away. Information and Media Permanent Secretary Mr. Tabo Kawana, alongside Mr. Charles Changano, lawyer to Mr. Geoffrey Bwalyamwamba, says the former defense minister is still alive. Mr. Kawana says Mr. Mwamba remains admitted at Minor so-called medical center and his condition is very stable. The permanent secretary has since warned all those that are in the habit of abusing cyberspace with an aim of passing on misinformation that their days are numbered.
Danger at all, and he is well and alive. I just want to take this opportunity again to warn all those that are in this habit, so that they pass on misinformation and disinformation, that your days are numbered. And when you are caught up and the law is used against you, you begin to insinuate that there is no freedom of expression, democratic space is shrinking, and yet you know that you are extremely irresponsible and alarming the nation unnecessarily.
The Ministry of Energy has initiated a review of the guidelines governing the Tazama Pipeline Open Access Framework, which is aimed at enhancing the framework by incorporating operational insights gathered since its implementation on 1st April 2025. The Open Access Framework was introduced to promote liberalization and improve efficiency in Zambia's petroleum transportation system by enabling third-party access to the Tazama pipeline infrastructure. Ministry of Energy Permanent Secretary for Technical Services Peter Mumba says the framework represents a significant milestone in the government's ongoing efforts to modernize the energy sector and foster inclusive private sector participation. Mr. Mumba adds that the positive developments observed so far since this operationalization in April 2025, the framework has yielded promising results. He says these include notably the successful offloading and market sale of the first diesel consignment under the regime, as demonstrated the viability of the open access model. Mr. Mumba says the initiative also facilitates the increased participation of private players, leading to greater competition and improved utilization of the Tazama pipeline.
We need to constantly remind ourselves of the objectives of the open access framework, and these are: 1, promoting competition among oil marketing companies through fair access to infrastructure. 2, enhancing operational efficiency in the transportation and supply of petroleum products. 3, ensuring transparency and fairness in pipeline use. 4, encouraging private sector investment, thereby supporting economic growth.
Government, through the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, has commissioned various projects with 1.2 million kwacha under the South Korean Simo Undong supported projects in Chikankata district of Southern Province. under the community development model, which promotes the principle of self-help, diligence, ownership, participation, and mindset change. A 1 by 3 health workers housing unit in Nanduba village and 3 improved solar powered water points in Nansenga village have since been completed and commissioned, while a community hall and a market shelter are nearing completion. Ministry Permanent Secretary Miss Angela Kawandami, accompanied by her Southern Province counterpart, Dr. Namani Monze, who commissioned the projects, recognized the power of community resilience and hard work in fostering development. Ms. Kawandami, who appreciated the continued collaboration and support from the South Korean government, expressed happiness that the projects are already making a significant difference in the lives of community members, with plans to replicate these successes in other provinces to promote equitable and inclusive development for all. She further disclosed that 31 community members and 32 officers have been trained in South Korea, with 16 additional community members, 4 from each participating village in Chikankata and Kafue districts, together with 4 government officers scheduled to travel to that country for more training. And Southern Province Permanent Secretary Namani Monze said seeing such development in the province coming out of self-sacrifice and hard work is encouraging, and thanked the ministry for facilitating the government-South Korean collaboration that has birthed such a successful community development model. Action Aid Zambia AZ has noted that fostering a friendly electoral environment involves more than just conducting elections. Speaking at a stakeholders engagement meeting held today under the theme Creating an All Stakeholder Friendly Electoral Environment Ahead of the 2026 General Elections, Action Aid Zambia Country Director Fides Temba has stated that the initiative seeks to engage key players such as political parties, the Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ, and frontline civil society organizations CSOs. The aim is to discuss fundamental issues related to creating an enabling environment for both political and civic participation. Ms. Temba has stressed that a friendly electoral environment goes beyond the act of voting. It involves ensuring a space where all political and civic actors are guaranteed equal freedoms, particularly civil and political rights.
Equal freedoms, especially the civil and political rights. This meeting, hosted under the theme Creating an All Stakeholder Friendly Electoral Environment Ahead of the 2026 General Elections, aims to engage key stakeholders such as political parties, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, and frontline civil societies in elections to discuss fundamental issues of creating an enabling environment for political and civic participation. These discussions will serve as platforms for fostering transparency, addressing concerns, and collectively working towards the advancement of democratic values in the electoral process.
At the
We
same
need
event,
to constantly remind ourselves
ECZ Principal Electoral Officer Mata Sikota has revealed that Al Ghurair Printing and Publishing of the United Arab Emirates has been awarded a 3-year contract to print and deliver ballot papers and other election materials. The contract was signed on January 10, 2025.
This is why we conduct there. So this tender was opened to all. We did not say only international companies to participate. It was opened to everyone. So the contract was signed this year on the 10th of January, and it will run for 3 years. It will cater for the current by-elections and current by-elections, the general election, and subsequent by-elections. Sorry. On voter registration, this we have mentioned, Peter alluded to it. And what we want to say at this point is it's important for us stakeholders to watch the electoral process closely.
Meanwhile, Christian Churches Monitoring Group CCMG Program Manager Peter Mwanangombe has urged the ECZ to intensify efforts in sensitizing and encouraging citizens to register as voters ahead of the upcoming elections.
Really step up their efforts in as far as encouraging people to go and obtain NRCs, to register as voters, replace their cards, and so on and so forth. They need to take bold decisions about denouncing political violence. It doesn't benefit anyone. It in fact inflicts more pain on the voters themselves.
Ministry of Education Permanent Secretary for Educational Services Kelvin Mambwe has emphasized the government's relentless commitment to enhancing primary education across Zambia. Speaking on behalf of Dr. Mambwe, Assistant Director, Head of Communications, Ms. Kundamando, addressed over 300 headmasters from Lusaka District at a one-day 2024 Grade 7 performance review meeting held at Twin Palm Secondary School by reminding the gathering of President Hakainde Hichilema's accolades, who was recognized the champion of foundation learning in Africa by the Association of the Development of Education in Africa, ADEA, in 2023. By highlighting the critical importance of primary education, Ms. Mando noted that it serves as the bedrock for individual, social, and economic development. However, Ms. Mando disclosed the need to address shortages of classrooms, desks, and teaching materials, which are vital for supporting the new curriculum. The assistant director urged head teachers to focus on the successful implementation of the new curriculum, emphasizing the need for specialized primary schools to prevent overcrowding in educational institutions. The head teachers from both government and private schools, who were led by the District Education Board Secretary Deb's office, were availed statistical analysis on how learners performed at grade 7 in 2024 and what measures are needed to fix gaps where they exist. Equally, best performing schools were given chance to share their practices to attain uniformity.
Education is crucial for individual, social, and economic development, providing the foundation for future learning and skills development. My ministry has made significant strides in primary education provision, including recruiting over 30,000 primary school teachers between 2022 and 2024.
VVOB Zambia Strategic Education Advisor Mr. Lyson Chikunduzi presented their statistical findings to the audience.
Schools, the learners in those private schools are citizens of this country, so they're also part of this initiative. So whatever we are doing, we need to embrace all learners, despite their, I would say, where they go to school to learn, and we're supporting them. So both private, community schools, public, grant-aided schools are needed in this intervention approach to the supporting the learners. So their coming on board is very critical in the sense that, and it's also worth mentioning that for Lusaka province, a very good proportion of learners are in these institutions.
International betting company OneXBet has appointed Susie Osho, Chief Executive Officer and founder of Magnet, as its official brand ambassador in Zambia. The announcement was made during a Lusaka press conference where the company unveiled 3 collaborative initiatives with Magnet to support youths and promote responsible betting. Speaking during the conference, Mr. Shaw expressed excitement and gratitude for the appointment, saying he has been eagerly awaiting for the opportunity. He emphasized that the brand will launch a campaign to promote responsible betting and road safety, featuring educational media coverage, a dedicated website section, social media support, and partnerships with local influencers.
One most interesting part is actually the safe betting campaign, and that is also one thing for the road traffic there. And then the other thing as well is, which is actually the most important, is the business school where OneXBet is going to partner and also start empowering entrepreneurs, obviously through me, the ambassador, who could actually talk about different topics ranging from different sorts of entrepreneurship. So it's actually a big thing. It's not basically just about betting, but it's also about bringing society together and also making society understand that OneXBet is a brand that stands with them.
And in other news trending this evening, First Quantum Minerals has announced a strategic investment in Prospect Resources, the Australian-based battery and electrification metals developer. Opposition Democratic Party leader Justin Nkonge has called for the establishment of clearer and more refined laws and guidelines to ensure that constituency development funds (CDF) are used effectively and for their intended purposes. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
The government has taken strategic steps to harness innovative technologies and attract investment into the country's tourism, mining, agriculture, manufacturing, energy, and other priority sectors through its participation at the ongoing Osaka 2025 World Expo, which officially opened on 13th April 2025 in Yumeshima, Osaka, Japan. Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry Permanent Secretary MCTI Lilian Bwalia reaffirmed Zambia's commitment to promoting Zambia as an investment and tourism destination to drive economic growth and development. She noted that the expo offers an invaluable platform for Zambia to identify and integrate global technologies and expertise into sectors such as tourism, agriculture, infrastructure, manufacturing, and health, among others. The permanent secretary encouraged Zambia's private sector to take part in the expo, highlighting its wide thematic reach covering health, women's empowerment, technology, tourism, and investment as a unique opportunity to explore transformative technologies and collaborative ventures. Ms. Bwalia emphasized that the Zambian government is actively positioning investment in tourism to generate jobs, create sustainable wealth, and accelerate economic growth. She also pointed to key government initiatives such as the visa on point of entry for over 160 countries and visa waivers for Japanese nationals, as well as major investments in infrastructure and site accessibility as measures that support increased tourism inflows. The permanent secretary further added that efforts like the Visit Zambia and Zambia Kuchalo campaigns, the domestic tourism strategy, and the tourism investment guide are actively shaping Zambia's image as a competitive and attractive destination. Zambia's ambassador to Japan, Tobias Molimbika, expressed pride in Zambia's participation at the ongoing 6-month expo being held under the central theme, Designing Future Society for Our Lives. This is contained in a statement issued by First Secretary, Press and Public Relations at the Embassy of Zambia, Tokyo, in Japan, Faith Navene Chilube. And in foreign news, vehicles were set alight outside several French prisons, and one jail was hit by gunfire from an automatic weapon in a wave of overnight attacks. Justice Minister Gerald Demanin said the jails had first intimidation attempts and linked the attacks to the government's crackdown on drug trafficking. 7 establishments were targeted, according to the Parisian newspaper, in Toulon, Aix-en province, Marseille, Valencia, and Nimes in southern France, and in Villepinte and also Netre near Paris. And in sports news, FAR's technical director Lyson Zulu conferred with FIFA chief of global football development Arsene Wenger and head of high performance programs Ouf Shot in Morocco on the sidelines of the Under 17 AFCON. The FAS Youth Development Program was under the microscope, with FIFA high performance specialist Abdul Faso attending the meeting. Zambia is one of the countries that has regularly signed up for the FIFA Technical Development Scheme, which has seen successful under 15 national teams regularly participate in developmental tournaments. FAS FIFA and FAS are exploring the possibility of launching a national football academy, with the technical directorate already lining up the resources. Zambia has established under 15 national teams for girls and boys, which has proved a critical feeder in the under 17 and under 20 national teams. The under 17 have qualified for the FIFA World Cup for the first time, with the under 17 women on the cusp of back-to-back World Cup appearances. Additionally, the under 17 and under 20 have qualified for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, underscoring the great strides made in reorganizing the youth structures. And the evening weather is having few clouds, slightly windy and warm to mild. That weather item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the stories that made headlines. The Ministry of Energy has initiated a review of the guidelines governing the Tazama Pipeline Open Access Framework, which is aimed at enhancing the framework by incorporating operational insights gathered since its implementation on 1st April 2025. ActionAid Zambia AZ has noted that fostering a friendly electoral environment involves more than just conducting elections. And finally, vehicles were set alight outside several French prisons, and one jail was hit by gunfire from an automatic weapon in a wave of overnight attacks. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia, and YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the happy world of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie Banda. Enjoy the rest of the evening.